To start off, on the left hand side of the engine compartment you have your power distribution box lid. Underneath the lid you've got fuses and relays. The whole idea of a power distribution box is to take the power to different parts of the electrical system in the car. Moving the camera up here, you've got your 3 nuts that are used to attach the top of the strut to this load-bearing member. This component here is part of the top of the strut. Inside there you would have a bearing that allows the strut to be moved left and right when you're turning the car. To the right of the previous location you have one of your wiring harnesses. This wiring harness has got an attachment point that attaches the wiring harness to the brake fluid tank. Now this component here is your brake fluid cap. Underneath the cap you've got your brake fluid tank or reservoir. The brake fluid reservoir is used to prevent air from going into the system from the top of the system, and it's also used to store excess brake fluid in the system. Moving the camera back here, you've got your pipe that feeds vacuum to your vacuum-powered brake booster. The brake booster is used to provide power assistance for the driver. If you've tried to brake a vehicle with disc brakes without a brake booster, you would know that it's very, very difficult. So that's why you need a vacuum-powered brake booster. You can just see it that you've got 2 pipes that go in and out through the bulkhead to go to your heater core. Just like in many internal combustion engine vehicles, you're using the engine's coolant system to provide coolant to a mini radiator known as a heater core to heat up your cabin. Moving the camera more to the right, you can see your 2 pipes that go to and from your evaporator. When you activate your air conditioning system, the cold air that you feel going through the air vents is supplied by your evaporator. Moving over here, you have your diesel injection driver module. Moving the camera down here, you can see one of your sensors that are part of your emission control system. You can just see to the right you have your flange. Now a flange is a level mating surface which is ideal to attach a gasket. Underneath the heat shielding, you've got the turbine housing for the turbocharger. Inside the housing you've got turbine blades that connects to a shaft that drives your compressor. When the engine is running, exhaust gases move the turbine blades and thus moving the compressor blades, turbocharging the engine. Moving over to the right hand side of the engine compartment you have your fuel priming button. Below the previous area you have your diesel fuel filter. This filter is used to remove contaminants, dirt, debris and water from the fuel going into the fuel injection system. Moving over here you have your air filter lid. Behind that lid you have your air filter element. This component here is your mass airflow sensor. After the sensor you have your pipe that takes air to the inlet of your turbocharger compressor housing. Moving the camera to the front of the engine compartment you have your 12-volt battery. On the battery itself you have a cover that covers your positive post and negative post. Now this component here is part of your system that holds down the battery. You need a system like this in any car because the vehicle is subjected to G-forces and that can move the battery around if you didn't have it. You can also see a component that's known as a heat blanket. The heat blanket is there to improve thermal efficiency of the battery. Moving the camera over here you have your engine control unit. Typically on control units you will have ribs that not only enhance the strength of the unit but are also used as cooling fins to cool the unit down. Over here you can see both of your electrical connectors for your engine control unit. To the right you have your other power distribution box. Moving the camera up here, you've got a big wiring harness that has many wires going to different electrical systems in the car. Moving the camera so it's looking at the rear of the left-hand headlight, you've got your service cover that you can remove to gain access to your dipped beam light bulb, and your electrical connector to power and control the main beam bulb. This electrical connector goes to your dipped beam bulb. Moving the camera to this location, you can see one of your radiator cooling fans. When the vehicle is not moving with the engine running, lack of air going through the radiator can cause the vehicle to overheat. To solve this issue, the cooling fans are used to draw in the air from the outside, cooling the radiator and thus cooling the engine. Back in this location, you've got your washer fluid cap, your pressure cap, and expansion tank. You've got a pipe here that's part of your expansion tank system. Located down here, you can see one of your engine mount brackets, supply pipe to the left of it, and two of your air conditioning pipes. You can also just see the neck that takes the washer fluid to the washer fluid tank. Moving the camera to this location, you can see both of your dust covers. Now, behind these dust covers, you've got valves that are used so service personnel can attach an air conditioning recharge machine to the system to recharge the system. To the right of the high pressure recharge point for your air conditioning system, you have one of your sensors that are used to tell the climate control ECU what is happening in the line. With the engine cover removed, you can see your electrical rail. Inside the rail, you've got wires going to different components like actuators and sensors and other systems. Moving the camera more closer to this location, you can see your actuator to control your exhaust gas recirculation valve. To the left of the previous area, you have your dipstick. Also in this area, you can just see your auxiliary belt system. Moving the camera down here, you can just see your air conditioning compressor. Moving the camera to this location, you've got your vacuum pump. In a diesel engine, lack of vacuum because your throttle body is always open creates an issue where you don't have a lot of vacuum. To solve this issue, you have a vacuum pump that supplies vacuum to vacuum-powered components like your brake booster. Located at the top of the engine, you have your fuel rail. The fuel rail's job is to supply fuel at equal pressure to each fuel injector. Also on the fuel rail, you have a pipe that takes fuel from the high-pressure pump to the fuel rail. So this area which I'm pointing at is where your high pressure pump will be. Valve covers are very important in an internal combustion engine because it is used to prevent dirt or dust or debris from going into the valve train. You have 4 electrical connectors to control and power each fuel injector. Thank you very much for watching my video, and goodbye.